Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about Social Explorer. This is a resource that combines demographic, psychographic, and crime data with geography. So you can learn about various demographic variables based on their differences across different parts of the United States. In order to use this resource, what's most important is for you to be able to sign up for the resource. The resource as such costs a good amount of money, but thanks to your being a part of the Pace community, you have free access to it, provided you follow these directions. First things first, you need to join the Pace Vpn. You can learn more about the Pace Vpn by either Googling Pace VPN or following this link that I'm going to share with you right now. So here you can learn more about the Pace VPN system. It allows you to download this bit of software and then log into the Pace University system. This way you're virtually present, even though you may not be physically present on campus. This is important when you register for Social Explorer, because in order for them to give access to you to utilize the software, they want to verify that you are indeed on the Pace University campus and a Pace community member. So once you're on the Pace VPN, then the next step would be to visit Social Explorer, which the link is pretty obvious. You're going to visit socialexplorer.com, which looks like this. Once you're on here, as you can see, I'm already signed in, and it says your professional plan provided by Pace University. In your case, it may not say anything at all. It may ask you to register for an account. When you register for one, make sure you register using a Pace University email address and give them your real name. And of course, before you do so, make sure you're on the Pace VPN. When you're all set and done, when you register, it'll eventually say up here, professional plan provided by Pace University. This enables you access to all the bells and whistles of Social Explorer. Now, once you have signed up into the service, you can then enjoy the benefits of being able to visualize your data by geography. For example, you can go into, well, before I even go show you examples, there are a number of self-learning modules out here, like lecture launchers, training modules, and so on, which can tell you more about how the system works. I'm going to show you a few examples of what you can do out here at this stage. So if you click on Create New, you'll have the option of creating a map, a story, report, and so on. Let's go on to Maps. And now it's going to ask us whether we want to use the United States. I'm going to say yes, create. And we are on our way now to creating a map of our data. So here is a map of the United States. By default, the map shows us the distribution of population in the United States. You can tell from the dark colors, there are a lot of people living there in close quarters. For example, the state I'm from, New Jersey, has a lot of people and is perhaps one of the most densely populated states in the country. And you can, of course, see states like Wyoming with a relatively less population density of 6 per square mile. Now, that is, of course, only the default. We want to be able to dig deeper into this. What you can do, for example, right now is specify a data type out here. So if I change the data, you can specify a different variable like income. Notice up here, there are many years specified of for which data is being shared or being displayed. I'll go with the default to 2020 because I believe 2020 refers to the decennial census data. Click on income, and now it's going to ask us to give us. It'll ask us to specify how do we want income displayed. We can display this based on people who have less than $10,000 and so on. And by the way, this is based on the ACS 2020, not the US Census 2020. ACS is short for American Community Survey, which is done every few years to supplement US Census data. ACS, unlike the US Census, is based on a sample of American consumers. As I scroll down the list, I'll arrive here at median household income based on 2020 inflation-adjusted dollars. If I click on that, the box gets checked, Now I can close this window and view the map. As such, the map looks very red. Essentially, it shows us pretty much the whole country is in a certain very orange-red kind of area. You can change this shading coloring by using different colors. Like if you're not happy with the orange to yellow, which I'm not, I feel like the color of money is green. So let's go with green here. So we'll pick a leaf color here. And this is not doing much justice either to the variation by state in income. We can, of course, tell very easily by looking at this that Colorado, California, Virginia, and New Jersey, and Massachusetts have more income on average than other parts of the country, Washington as well. You can drill down, of course, down to the county, census tract, or even zip code level. Let's go to county level. Also, you can see now the county level, more variation, more clearly represented out here. Most of the wealth in California lies along the coast. By zooming in, you can learn more about your environment. Let's say you want to learn more about New York City. New York City comprises 5 counties: New York County, Bronx County, King County, Queens County, and Richmond County. So you can see here, the data has been aggregated by county. So all of Manhattan looks, all of New York County, that is, looks the same color. We can drill down further by zip code and see more variation within New York City, for instance. So for instance, you can learn here that this part of New York City has a fairly low median household income compared to, let's say, the Upper West Side. Now, you're not limited to just visualizing income data, though. You can do a lot more with this. You could perhaps go into looking at, maybe you're curious to know about home value or age, or, let's just take a look at those things. I can change data, and we'll just pick here now median home value. We go back, select from this list home value. Here again, I have an option for selecting the median value. We select that. And I can see, again, the prices of homes in and around New York. We already saw a picture of the income graph, and now you can also learn about the prices of homes. The areas of Brooklyn that are close to Manhattan are very expensive. And then there's also the up-and-coming Williamsburg area, which has high home value prices. And as you move away from New York into New Jersey, you'll notice too that prices are kind of lower. And then they go up again as you go to areas like Montclair and these areas here. Montclair, Livingston, Melbourne, so on. Okay. So you get the idea. Now you can also, of course, change the way that it is expressed by changing the color. We've seen that before. Let's take a look now at other information like, for instance, the age of people. So demographic variable of age. And let's look for median age of people. And here we have it. We have the median age being represented for different parts of New York. You can tell that the area of New York that had a, so the darker colors now represent older people. And because it's about age, it makes sense to have maybe a graying color. So picking appropriate colors based on what the data is showing. So the more dark the color is, the older the person is. So lighter colors would represent younger neighborhoods then. You can tell from looking at the map right now that certain parts of New York tend to be older. This zip code near Central Park is rather old. As you would expect, Upper West Side, it has an older kind of older set of people than, for example, the Village. As you move into New Jersey, again, you'll see the same trend, where people are initially, you can see older and older folks as you go out in New Jersey as well. Same with Long Island as well. Okay, let's go on and try examine some other interesting statistics that we have available out here. We have here, in addition to all these options you can look at, you can also look at, for instance, something like MPD quality of life. Let's see what that is. So here we have a couple of indices created for market profile data. They include, let's look at the restaurant index. So here we are. We'll learn more about restaurants. Again, I'm going to go and change the level is automatically been changed to census tract. I'll make that back to zip code. And let's go into this and make the, let's break it, let's drill down a bit more to census place. So it seems like for restaurant index, we don't have very granular data. I think the lowest you can get down to is the zip code level. And let's pick a different color for restaurant. Let's go with teal. So again, look at restaurants. The restaurant index is fairly uniform actually across the not much variation here. You can go in and look at other indices like, for instance, household size. How about that? Or how about something darker, like a total crime index? And since crime is dark and bad, and we want to then use using a more red color here to represent higher crime. Looks too scary with so much red out there. I'm going to go with maybe a more milder red here. Okay, so here you can see where crime is high. These are high crime index areas. So, and again, quickly in a bird's eye view tells you in a sense, places, Manhattan, Jersey City, Brooklyn, so on, have generally higher crime. And so there's lower crime in areas like as you go out east into west into New Jersey or east into Long Island, the crime falls off. And crime in general is lower in less populated areas. So you're going to see in America that wherever there are fewer people, there's also less crime. Let's break this down by state or county and get a sense of how it varies by county. Okay. All right. And so this is something you can kind of easily do by using Social Explorer. I've only examined a few of the variables available out here. There are many more variables to explore. There's also the option to do side-by-side comparisons that I've not talked about here. I encourage you to take a look at that, how you can compare, for example, the population of males and females by putting two maps side by side. Wherever permissible, you can switch from shaded area to bubbles or dot density. Let's take a look at one example of this before I wrap up here. Let's do this for marital status here. So I'll go with people who are, let's say never married people. Look at never married people around the country. And so here we have the option of going with a dot density, right? Let's go with dot density. Let's go with green of some sort. It's better. And I'll specify this by zip code again. Oops. And so dot density may not have been the best way to represent single people. So here we have a map showing us the percentage of single, never married people by state. You can tell that by looking at the map that in general there are fewer single, never married people in Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and so on. And if you break it down by the zip code level, you can drill down and learn more about, for example, New York City. Let's see if we can do this by zip code for New York City area. Some parts of New York City have more single people. So you have here a sense of percentage numbers. You can see, for instance, that the zip code 10003 has 64% single people, as opposed to, let's say, the Upper West, which is 33%. Or if you go out to, again, a place like Millburn, Short Hills, it's going to be Madison is 38%, 20% for Livingston. Okay, so this, and just to kind of reiterate then, you can use bubbles if you'd like to. That helps you visualize better. There's a possibility, and you also do things like dot density, represent your data. Okay, although dot density is not so meaningful in this context. That looks better. Okay. So the dot density represents, I guess, 25 people who are never married. So we actually get actual counts of people. So if you want to know, well, where are all the unmarried people? Well, there's a way to kind of visualize that on your map. Okay. So to wrap up then, Social Explorer is a nice way to marry your demographic, psychographic, and crime data to geography.